Continuing with my review of some of Laverda's Breganze bikes, I'm going to talk about the triples now. And I've got here a 75 3C, a 76 3CL, and a 77 Jota, although it's got 81 bodywork on it. So let's take a look at them. They're all triple cylinder 180-degree cranks, and if you look at my individual videos on each of these, it'll tell you more about what all of that means. I'm going to point out some of the differences between the models so you could quickly tell what year approximately the bike might be, noting that there were differences year to year from the factory. All three of these have double front Brembos. The very early Laverda triples had the same drum as the 750 SF1. The later drum, this one that I talked about in my last video, the 75 and 76 both have solid Brembo discs, whereas the 77 has drilled discs. So that's one quick thing. The 75 has a seat with no cowling on the back. It has a little different tail light and signal light mounts. This one has the original Cherry Annie shocks on it, and they're still working, which is why they're on it. But otherwise, it looks pretty similar to the 76 3CL. The differences there are mostly cosmetic. You can see on the tank there's a decal and a stripe on the side cover instead of just plain paint. And it's got the cowl on the back of the seat. This seat, to remove it, you need to undo these bolts. This seat, it's a simple lever, and then you have access to everything. There's a little cubby hole at the back here that I keep a spare clutch cable and some tools and a rag in. We're looking at the Jota. This is a 77 Jota, and it should look almost identical to this 76 3CL. In fact, this one was green when it was first brought into Canada. However, the owner wanted it to look more like a modern one, the 81s at the time, so Larry Strung put some work into it and did all of that work. I like the way it looks, so I'm not putting it back to 77 spec. But you can tell by this fairing, so that's the later Jota fairing. You can see that the frame is powder coated gray, and this bike has the original rear sets on it from the Jota, which are very nice. The 77 wouldn't have had those, and the fatter seat compared to the 3CL seat. It still opens in the same way as the 3CL, giving you access to the cubby hole and so on. This bike has the 3-into-1, and if you look at my individual video, it talks about why that is so. And a disc brake on the back, just like the 3CL, whereas the 75 has the Laverda drum, the later drum, as I mentioned earlier in some other videos. There are many differences in the motor. The motor of the Jota is far more powerful, different cams, higher compression ratio, bigger exhaust, and so on. Again, go back to one of those videos. The carbs are the same on all of them, 32mm Delorto pumpers. The Jota has velocity stacks, whereas the 3CL and the 3C have air filters. They shift on the right. The Jota's shifter is right there. It's 1 down, 4 up. The 3CL's shifter is right there, and the same 1 down, 4 up. However, this 75, it's got a crossover mechanism and it shifts on the left. I really don't like that. I'd like to revert it back, but you see this tab here that is the stop for the brake arm. It doesn't exist on this frame. And to put one on, I'd have to weld it on, and this frame's just been powder coated. So I don't mind the brake being over here, but look at that clunky shifter mechanism. Don't really like it, but I guess that was the law back then. And it's odd to have the oldest bike with the newest shifting arrangement. But still, when you get on the bike, you can notice the difference pretty quickly, and no mistakes are made. So that's some of the differences between Laverda's triples, at least the 180-degree Breganze triples. Next time I'll talk about the RGS and the differences between the 180 and the 120. Thanks for watching. See you next time.